Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk more about the Dome District because, some people want to know a little bit more about different areas other than just downtown if they're moving here. Now, again, without question, I think that downtown is one of the places that you should probably consider moving to out of any other place in Tacoma if you're new to the area. But I would say a very close number two is the up and coming Dome District. Excuse me. And I say up and coming because while it doesn't have all of the things and amenities that downtown Tacoma has, it is so close to downtown. I mean, it's literally touching right next to it. You have the Tacoma Link light rail that runs from the Dome District right into downtown. So it's literally by train a 5-10 minute journey, maybe, if that. And the frequency is going to increase as the hilltop extension opens, so the frequency will increase. But the Dome District, while it doesn't have the theaters, it doesn't have all the museums, it doesn't have all these different things, it is becoming, it doesn't have parks, it is an up and coming area. And there's a reason why it doesn't have parks. If you look at the history of the Dome District, it was a warehouse and still is a warehouse and light industrial area. Over time, that stuff is starting to go away. You still have that activity over there, but it's starting to be less and less and less. And you're starting to see the residential population grow. Now, what the Dome District does have that downtown may not have a lot of, but it's still relatively good, is great access to transportation. Now, yes, the Link Light Rail runs through downtown. Pierce Transit has their bus turnaround station up there. You can, there's a lot of stops, all that stuff. Granted. But when you look at the Dome District, if you're talking about a truly walkable, simple walkable neighborhood, that is pretty much the Dome District. And here's why. You have, let's talk about the bus station. The bus station is right there on, damn, I don't even know. What is that? 26th Street? I don't know. It's the street over from 24th. It's right over there by the parking garages. And it is our bus station, right? Our city bus station. You can go there and you literally can link up to wherever you got to go. It has buses that come from Olympia, which I forget what their transit company is called. But they go there. Also from Sound Transit, their buses go down there. So you have that connectivity outward. So whether you're going up to King County or you're going down to Thurston County, right there you're able to get to it and you're able to walk to it. Also, as I mentioned, all the city bus services kind of link out of there. Some of them don't, but most of them do. That is all right there. Eventually, when they build the BRT system, it will also connect right there as well. So it links the south side of the city. So Spanaway, Parkland, Midland, all of those will be able to connect into downtown right from that bus station. Up from that is the Greyhound station and all the other like Flex Bus and all that other stuff is right there. You also have, like I said, the large parking garages. You have two big, huge parking garages. I don't know how many cars they hold, but they're about 8 stories tall, and they're massive. They take up at least 2 city blocks. You have that right there. When you jog over to, as I mentioned, on 25th Street, you have the Tacoma Link Light Rail right there. The Dome Station is right there across from Freight House Square. It takes you all the way into downtown Tacoma. Eventually, it's going to go into Stadium District and then into Hilltop, where the Medical Mile is along MLK. So no matter if you're working at a hospital, you can still live in the Dome District, right? Because it makes sense. The other thing that the Dome District has in terms of transportation is access to Amtrak. So right there in Freight House Square, which is right there on 25th Street, right across from the parking garage, right across from the Tacoma Link Light Rail Station, is Freight House Square. Inside of Freight House Square, you have a ton of different little small mom and pop shops. The Painting Panda Pottery Studio is there. You have the night market that goes there every month. So there's a lot of stuff to do right in that area. As I mentioned, the bookstore is not far from there. It's within walking distance. But inside of that building is Amtrak. Amtrak has two Amtrak lines that run through there. The right next to that is the Sounder station. This connects you south because there's a south station, and eventually DuPont will have a station, but there's also a station in South Tacoma. So it goes to the south, but it mainly goes up to the north to Seattle. And so from there, you can do whatever you got to do. And keep in mind, too, what I didn't mention is we have a lot of express buses, which pick up right in that general area as well, where the bus station is, and takes you all the way up to Seattle. So connectivity from that aspect is right there. Eventually, in another 80 years, when we get the light rail station or the light rail system from Seattle to come down here, I joke, it's supposedly less than that. Then you're going to be able to take the light rail system all the way up to Seattle and to the airport and all of that. That's going to be right there in the Dome District. So when we're talking about walkability, without having to worry about getting hit by a car potentially, the Dome District is pretty. It makes sense. If you notice right there there's very wide sidewalks. For it to be a industrial area, the sidewalks are very wide, which is a good thing. So right there all along 25th Street, you have fairly wide sidewalks. Some areas are a little bit more narrower, but still fairly wide sidewalks. It's comfortable for people, especially young families, to, push a stroller around. It's becoming more and more developed, right? Now, some will say, what are some other things that are there? There's no museums, there's no playground, there's none of those things. And you would be correct. These are things that the city needs to work on and fix. And I think as we get more and more and more people moving in, the city will definitely have to do something to make sure that there's parks that are somewhat close by, at least a park of some sort, and continue with all the other creature comforts that people need for that area. Because keep in mind, it had very little population before, and now it's like a doubling effect, right? They're adding more and more and more apartments in that area. And I don't think it's going to end anytime soon. I think you're going to see more and more attractions spring up in that general area. But again, if you're talking about someone that doesn't want a car, if you're one of those people, I don't want a car, don't need a car, and you want to be able to get around easier, the Dome District is probably going to make a lot of sense because you're able to get to everywhere you need to go. Now, keep in mind, grocery store. The only grocery store that you're going to be able to be connected to is right there in the Stadium District. It's Stadium Thriftway. That is a full-scale grocery store. It's a little bit pricier than what people are used to. But that will, once the Link Light Rail opens up into Hilltop, there's a stop that drops you off right there in front of the grocery store. So for all of the people who live downtown, this grocery store is going to be the closest you're going to get where you don't need a car, right? So now things like grocery, toiletry items, a few small things to fix in your house, things like that is going to be right there. There's a lot of other convenience stores and things like that smattered throughout downtown. And even in the Dome District, there was a convenience store that was there. The person that owned it passed away, but it's still available right there in Freight House Square. That space is available to be another convenience store. So given all of that, downtown is a great option for sure. But for some people who don't necessarily want to be in all of that, and it's mainly a lot of tourists, they may consider the Dome District. But that's kind of funny because it's now becoming a heavily touristy area. The Tacoma Dome is already a big touristy area. I mentioned there's some museums there, but LeMay Car Museum is right there as well. So that is there. But when it comes to getting tourists in that general area along 25th Street, it hasn't really been the touristy spot of the city. Let's just say that. That's starting to slowly change, and you're going to see more and more tourists come into 25th Street, especially as the Link Light Rail opens and if things like the night market continue. And all indications say that it will. You're going to start seeing a whole lot more activity going on over there in the Dome District. But anyhow, tell me what your thoughts are. These are not, the downtown of the Dome are not for everyone. But for people who live in Seattle, or they're thinking about moving down here, or they want something that's a lot more affordable, they're wanting to move out of Seattle for whatever reason, but they still have a job there, Dome District's going to be your best bang for your butt. Because best bang for your butt? No, the best bang for your buck. Because then you're able to just literally walk from your house, bicycle if you need to, or walk, or take the link. And we're talking very short distances here, less than a quarter of a mile. And then you're able to get into the Sounder Station and you're able to go up to Seattle and do what you got to do. You don't literally need a car. Tell me what your thoughts are. Be sure to join the Discord down in the description box below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment. And until next time, I will see you. Take care.